It's moments like these that we need to ask questions. I certainly really do not understand how this could possibly happen in the game. Then again, I can't say I'm surprised. This plane, and I'm talking about the Sukhoi-25T in the envelope as well, these planes should not be in the game. They shouldn't be here for at least another year. It is just absurd to me that this is, like the case. If we genuinely look at what these planes are, they do not belong here. To put it short, let's think of something that is super annoying, K-50, and let's just give it wings, and have it fly faster. That is basically what we're seeing here. Now, everyone, I'm sure, will be more than happy to run forward and say, in essence, this plane, no big deal, because this thing will be getting clapped by 12.0s. Oh, you might have a point there. Except for the problem that when this thing gets down-tiered, anything that walks before it will be annihilated by all conceivable points of the name. I don't understand why this plane is coming in. I don't. And that's just talking about the flight model, period. We're just talking about the flight model right now. The bigger crux of the problem, as it's been for the last year, maybe 2 years at this point, that they are allowing a premium aircraft to walk alongside the tech tree equivalent going into the game. That is ridiculous. If I could name the main problem that is plaguing ARB right now, it is the fact that there are too many sub-level 20s at top tier. You can buy your way to the top. And I'm sure, you're always going to have the people that run forward and the gaijin jockeys and everything that will sit there and defend the company to the last bastion and have them sit there and say, this is not a top rank aircraft. You have no argument. This isn't at 12.0 or the top BR. You have no argument. On what planet are you trying to hide your logic on? This is ridiculous. This plane can carry 16 Vikers. The only way to defeat a Viker at this point in the game is going to be you have to outmaneuver it. There's no countermeasures, no chaff, no flares. I don't think it's got a proxy fuse off of chaff. That will be something worth experimenting, but guess what? It's War Thunder. Good luck seeing anything approach with logic at this point. It is simply unbelievable. It is inconceivable to think that this is okay. It is not fun playing 16 versus 16. It is not fun when 80% of your team and up are people that are sub-level 20 or they have no idea what they're doing and they're trying to bomb an aircraft that have a better role to fill on the team than just bombing. When 12 people on your team are bombing, it is not a game of RRB anymore. It is simply a feeble attempt to try and find RP. Like, going back to 2017, in my opinion, this game was at its peak. And people will say, well, it went wrong when they started adding, more aircraft, so it's the people that ask for new aircraft that are to blame. No, they're not. Having the faith that the developers of this game have the ability to, develop this game was the feeble mistrust of the faith. That was the misplaced, belief that they could, do what they needed to do. Apparently, logic is a shortage and a lack of commodity these days. And apparently, the world's just being punished for it. things that make more sense to, these people, money is more important now. I dare BVVD and the other developers of the game. I dare them. I dare them, dare them, dare them. Stream for 6 hours playing not a premium aircraft, just play an aircraft at 11.3 to 12.0. I dare them. I dare them to play the game. Dare them to grind. I dare them. I dare them to do it. If they can sit there and sit for 6 hours and play the game, watch the carnage unfold, the level 20s run rampant, the non-stop 80%ers running in, bombing, and dying. It's just, I dare them to try, honestly. I will walk back my statement if they have the gancho to do this. I'm not kidding. I just don't think they understand what they've done. And if they did understand, then that is a corruption of their morality. They just don't understand what they're developing anymore. It's just the mentality has changed in the company. And I want to go back to 2017 again with regards to World of Tanks. The big reason why I stopped playing World of Tanks is down on the grounds that the game began to be overfilled with vehicles that were performing as well, or if not better, than their tech tree counterparts. And these vehicles were marketed trying to suck in the cash because the big thing on their mind was, give me the money. That was literally the attitude that they ran with. I just simply do not understand how they could watch a game like World of Tanks trash its reputation, its player base, its community, trash it, destroy itself as a competitive entity when it came to its competitive edge against War Thunder, and then sit there, watch all those events unfold, and then turn around to this day and flip the company upside down exactly in the same manner. How is it fun to have aircraft like this in the game? If people don't know what this aircraft is, I'm glad to break it down. You basically have a helicopter with wings that can basically countermeasure standard infrared missiles. So normal infrared missiles are off the table at this point. And remember, this is fighting 10-3s. We're not talking about, oh yeah, this thing against an A10, A10 A9L will work. Yeah, sure. We're talking about stuff like Mirage 3C. Those kinds of 10-3s. Things like Crusader with AIM-9D. We're talking about aircraft that were literally 50s, 60s aircraft going up against aircraft like this. The post-Soviet era. How on earth does that make sense? This aircraft will literally do well at every point of the mission. And people will say, well, the A10 has more advanced weapons. You're off your rocker. This is an overcompensation, if that is the argument. A complete overcompensation. Between the Sukhoi 25 and the A10, I would pick the Sukhoi 25 every time for the fact that it would, A, get to the mission area faster, and it had a more relevant piece of ordnance load that could reasonably do the mission while still, in a dogfight in Air RB. In Ground RB, the A10 is basically a helicopter. Either it pops off and cleans house, or it gets cleaned out the moment it steps onto the stage. How can you make that argument, to say that the Sukhoi 25 was just not good enough? This plane runs down other aircraft and clubs them to death. And it's a ground attacker. And this is not even probably the fullest form of this plane. They're probably going to give this thing R-73s here in the year. It's just going to get even more ferocious. So, yeah, big question here, where's the reality check? When are we asking the correct questions Like, are the devs in touch with what this game is? Do they still care about this game? Because I'd honestly would like to see them take a time machine back and talk to themselves and see who was the more excited person. I guarantee you it was probably the older guy, the guy who was back in time. I bet you he thought that this game was so much fun, and it was such a great project to translate into an online multiplayer game. Now it's anyone's guess. This game is coded by people that don't even play it, and I'm sure they could. People will drive the argument. Well, not many developers like to play their games. Yeah, not many developers play their games, and often they turn to garbage. Case in point, look around. Especially like these games. It's just a disconnect at this point. It's what's the new shiny and what's going to make the new buck and what's going to make our quarterly profit go up. That is what these things are. It's no longer a case of, wow, the gameplay is not up to standard. What can we do to fix it? It's what's going to make us, what's going to get us our Christmas bonus this year? What's going to triple it? I mean, it's just completely a different landscape from what it was in 2016 and 2017. Back then, it was like 3 BRs separation between the top BR of RRB and premiums. I think it was like 6.0 was the highest premium you could get. And then you had 9.0 air. And the battles back then were so invigorating. Excuse me. They were so invigorating. You actually had games where people were there because they got there with a legitimate purpose. They researched their way there. They grinded their way there. They, practiced and they, experienced the losses. They learned from them. They translated them into victories. You had some incredible pilots back then. And it was some of the best community, sportsmanship. You had people like, yes, there was some toxicity back then, but it is nowhere near where it is today. It's not even 1/10 of what it is today. It is that embarrassing of a transition. But, by all means, throw in another premium aircraft. Throw in another aircraft that is just inching towards the top BR echelon. By all means, throw in some more ranked sub-20s or level 20 subs, Like, I just don't understand. I just... Where is, where's the morality? I don't see the morality anymore. It's just... I honestly... Normally I get really excited for these dev servers, and usually, I try and make a video, and sometimes it's like there's just not enough content to make a video. Well, this is the wrong kind of content for a video, and unfortunately, it's coming out like this. I don't want to play this dev server. I don't. The moment I'm done with this video, I'm going to get off it, because there's literally nothing here to learn. There's nothing here to see. Everything here is a pretty fat joke. And, yeah. I'm just ranting at this point. Because there's just nothing that I can do. There's nothing I can say that will fix the circumstances. The people that code this game won't care. They won't listen. They will only look at their income as the answer to whether or not what they are doing is correct. And there are idiots out here that will throw money at this. 100%. 100%. If this thing is $80, heck, if it's even $100, they will throw money at this thing just because they know that they will clean house when they get it. It is irresponsible. Fully irresponsible. And I just... Half of me wants them to save this game, the other half of me just wants them to bury it at this point. Like, give me an excuse to get out of this game. Please. Please. Get me out. If they can do a little bit more trashing, then by all means, I will hopscotch my way out of this show. I don't care. It is absurd. If anyone else wants to see any other aircraft from the patch, by all means, you can ask for it. I can look into it. The only interesting aircraft that I see coming out so far is the J8. And that's it. That's it. I don't care about the ordnance. I don't care about F-14B. Whoop-de-doo. Yeah, it's going to be a great a better F-14. Let's go look at that thing while we ignore this whole mistake unfolding behind us. It's absurd. That's all I gotta say. So, I'm done here. What you guys think? You guys can sway my opinion the other way. Go nuts. I know where I stand.